Hello everyone, my name is Feeble, and welcome to another tutorial video where I'm going to be showing you guys how to make Q controllers for your rigs like this. Alright, so this is going to be a pretty simple tutorial. Not a whole lot is going to be going on with this. It's a pretty simple process. I recently had someone message me on Twitter and ask me how to do it, and this is a tutorial that I've wanted to make for a while now, so I'm finally getting around to it. Alright, so for this, I'm going to be using Cinema 4D S24, but this should all kind of follow through with any other version of Cinema 4D that you guys might be using. Just follow along and you should be good. Alright, so first off, I have I have a couple just basic controllers here. They don't do anything, obviously. It's just for reference. So what you're going to want to do is create your controllers however you want to lay them out. You don't have to link them up to anything yet, or if you already have it, then that's all fine. It's just going to be a process of putting everything together. So I just created a couple base controllers here, just kind of as a template, I guess. So I'm going to be hiding this for now, but just know that we're going to get back to that later. Alright, so the first thing to do is to actually create a model of what you want the Q controller to look like. Now I'm going to be going off of what mine looks like in my AFMR rig. You can do whatever you want. This is mainly going to be a tutorial for you guys, just how to do it. But I'm just going to be creating kind of a similar type of thing. So again, it's not like you don't have to like go over the top if you don't want to. It could be very simple. I'm just going to create kind of something similar, like I said, to my rig, just to, because I'm kind of bland when it comes to ideas, to be honest. Yeah, just design your own controller, and when you design it, you want it to be in its like closed form. And you'll see what I mean in a minute, but let me just quickly design this real quick and I will get back to you guys when I am done. Alright, so I kind of have a general shape of what I want, something kind of like this. So again, you can create whatever you want. It could be like a circle, it could be vertical. I'm just doing it this way just because personal preference, I guess. But yeah, you can create this however you want. So next thing is that we need to duplicate this for the other side. So we're just going to copy and paste it, and then we're going to flip it. Actually, we're going to do it like this just so it doesn't mess up our little thing. And then we're going to pull this over, kind of map it like this a little bit. And actually both of these are a little too long, so we're just going to do something like this, and we can bring these back, something like that. Alright, so here we have a general kind of shape to what we want, and I'm going to go over how to put the Q in there and everything, but let's just kind of check how this looks compared to this. So and this is going to be it's actually going to need to be smaller. But what we're going to do now is we're going to select both of the objects, and we're going to right click and then go to connect objects plus delete. And that's going to turn it into one object. So we can call this just Q. Actually, we're going to we'll name this Q controller. Something like that. And then what we're going to do, for me at least, this is just to make it look better, we're going to turn on X-ray, and then we're going to go to color, and we're going to change this to maybe like a blue, kind of. Looks good. What you can also do is you can right click on it, go to render, go to display, and then go to the actual render tag, click use, and then change the shading mode to constant shading lines. So it's all going to be one color and not going to have like a little reflectance on it, and then it's also going to show up the lines. Alright, so I kind of like this. So what do we do now? What we're going to do is we're going to kind of, we're going to want this to be obviously smaller than the controllers. So we're going to kind of make it something around like this size. We can do like this is what we're going to do. So what we need to do actually from here is we need to make it so that it expands and then covers all of this. So how do we do that? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our controller or I guess our border thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a point morph. I have it set to over here. But what you can do is you press Shift F12. So what you can do instead of doing Shift F12 is you can go to Window, Customization, and then go to Customization Commands, or Customize Commands. Then you get this little box here. Then you want to type in point morph. And then you can take this and then drag this like wherever you want it, just like that. Alright, so now that we have that, what we're going to do is we're going to click on this and then add our point morph. From here you want to set the pose. You want to make sure that you do this all correctly, but you're going to have the pose, you can name this whatever you want, but pose 0 is what we're going to be working with. So make sure that you do have this selected and you do have this like little orange box around it, while also selecting this. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to resize this. So basically what we're going to do is we need to make the same kind of size. So for my scenario is I'm going to take these and I'm going to drag these up so that the bottom stays the same, but then we can just drag it to the top to create kind of that. And then we are going to take this entire one. So we're going to select every single polygon over here, just like this. And then we're going to move it to the other side. Now this might not make a whole lot of sense right now, but it's going to make more sense when we actually kind of cross over there. So kind of something like that. And then this kind of looks a little weird, so we're going to make it a little thicker. So we're going to take this side and we want to make it the same proportions. So we're going to take these edges right here and make sure you do it on both sides. And then we're going to expand it just a little bit. And then we're going to take this and this and over here, the insides, and we're going to shrink these down a little bit to kind of match it. And this looks still a little weird. So maybe we might bring these back in a little bit. Kind of something like... Alright, so I know this isn't perfect, but it is kind of... You're going to get the general idea. So we're going to go back into our normal mode. And now we can move this around. And then when we go into our point morph, we can drag this little slider here. And you're going to see that it's going to change the size. And I know when you press Q, it's going to change it to just open or closed, basically. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to go into our point morph and then click onto animate mode. What this is going to do is it's going to set it so that whenever we do a command, it's going to change it. And how do we do that? So this is something that's kind of you're kind of breaking the rules of it a little bit in a sense. This isn't like a function that you are normally supposed to do, but using what we're going to do is kind of a little thing. It's going to make a lot more sense. So basically, I'm going to try to explain this to you guys as best as I can. So we're going to put a subdivision on this, and we're going to set the subdivision to 0 for both of these so that it doesn't subdivide it at all. Now, why do we do that? So when we select onto this, it's not going to select the subdivision. It's instead going to select the actual mesh of this. And when we press Q on it, you're going to see over here, it's going to turn it on and off. So what we're doing is we're using that little enable feature to our advantage. So let's just create an Xpresso tag. So right click, go to programming Xpresso. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drag in the subdivision layer, and we're going to have this set so that we go to basic properties enabled for the output. So when this is enabled, basically, we want this to hide also quick. To quickly mention this because I didn't go over it. For your controllers, make sure that you group all of them into a null like this, and then you can set the null to the shape as non, so you don't have a little dot somewhere. But you want to make sure that it's in a null, so because we're going to be controlling this and hiding it, so you can see right there when we hide it, it's going to hide the entire thing and not just like one of them. You can put all of these in here. Using nulls though, it's going to be a lot easier. So come back into here. We have our controller null. So what we're going to do is for the input, we're going to set to basic properties, visible in editor, and then actually that's all we need because we don't want the controller showing up in the renderer. So when we do this, we can just simply do this, just like that. And then it's going to be a little weird. It's not going to make a whole lot of sense. But what you can see when we press Q now on this, it's going to enable and disable this, the controllers. So how do we get this to resize? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take the pose morph and we're going to drag it into our Xpresso. And from here, when this goes to enabled, we're going to go to tag properties, pose, whatever you have it named, enable. So here we go. Now you can see it's kind of, it's backwards a little bit. So you can see there. So how do we fix that? We take this out and we're going to go to Xpresso, or right click, new node, Xpresso, calculate, compare. And then from here, we're going to go to calculate, new node, Xpresso, bool, and then not. So this is going to make kind of an inverse switch, if you want to call it that. So we take the output of the compare and put this into the not input. And then we're going to take the input 1 and put this to the subdivision surface enabled. And then in the compare, we're also going to change the function to what is this, less than, pointing to the left, I guess, or opening to the left. So this, okay, so we have a little oh, because we didn't hook this up, my bad. So now when we press Q, you can see that it opens and closes and hides everything just like that. So how do we put the little Q in here? So what we're going to do is we're just going to, I don't know where they put the Q at. I think it would be in here. Or, not the Q specifically, but this thing. And we're just going to put Q. We're going to change the font to something a little more. Sure, let's go with that. So we're going to resize this to actually fit inside of the switch nicely. Just like this. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to click on this, press C, and press something else. And we're going to find the actual like Q itself. So this thing right here. So we're going to take this out, and then we can just delete all of these because this isn't necessary. And then we're also going to add a render tag onto this, and we're going to do it as a constant shading, just constant shading. So we can get something that looks like this. Alright, so what we do then is we put this inside of, or as a child of like the subdivision thing, and then we're also going to put the actual controllers as a child of the subdivision, just like that. So now when we move this entire thing, that isn't right. We need to make it a child of that. So when we move this entire thing, it's going to move everything together. So when we press Q on it, you can move everything together. But we have a little problem here with the Q. We're going to be doing kind of the same thing. So with the pose morph, or the point morph rather, so we're going to add one, just like we need to add a 2 to this, just like that. And then we're going to shrink it. So for the pose, we're just going to go here, shrink it down, and then we're also going to move it over here, or wherever you want it. And you don't need the Q there. This is just a personal thing that I like to do. And also with this, we're going to click this, and I guess we can't shrink it down. Okay, whatever. So we're going to go into animate, and then back into our Xpresso, take the Q, and we can also hook this up to pose enable. just like that. Make sure that you do set this to animate as well. So yeah, here is our Q switch, and this is a little broken. I didn't do something right. Clearly. So I'm gonna redo this actually real quick because I realized my problem. So we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna freeze the transformation. We're going to get rid of this real quick. We're gonna open this up. And then for this, we're gonna add a point morph. And then we need to go into this mode, that's right. And then we can shrink this down. And then we need to move it like that. We need to actually use the points and not just move it individually. We need to actually go into like some type of editing mode as far as points or polygons. So something like that. And when we check this, you can see that it's going to shrink down. So we go to animate, set this to 100. Bring the pose morph in here, and then set this to be the same. So enable, and yeah, there you go. So now when you press Q, it's going to open and close your switch just like that. So that's about it for the tutorial, and then also when you move everything around, it's gonna move it just like that. Pretty simple thing to do. Hopefully this helped you guys out in some way. If you guys wanted to make your own rig and you wanted to do something like this, or you had some other idea for it, I don't know. Kind of a cool thing. It was really fun to figure out when I was doing when I was making 2020. So yeah, pretty fun feature, and it's very useful. Hides things, and you can do the same kind of thing for hiding other things, like hiding your finger controllers. Or hiding certain features of the rig, like having the little dot, rather squares, like the red squares. The only thing is that you would want to change it or have it run into a condition for that if you wanted to have it change the color or something. So then for the condition, you would set the data type to color, and then you would select like, I don't know, green for on or something, and then do red for off or something like that. Then set it up to your switch. So that's how you do that. Q switch is pretty easy, pretty fun to do. Nice little feature. It's also pretty simple too. And somehow I still managed to make a 20-minute video out of it as I'm filming this. I might edit this down a lot, but yeah, so that's how you do it. And also, if you have like this weird thing where it kind of offsets, go into your chord, not this, your enable access, which that's not it either. This one. So you press L, and then you can kind of reset this, except that's a little weird. But you get the kind of basic principle of the thing. So yeah, that's how you make your own little Q switch. And again, you can make anything you like, any design you want. This is just kind of my design that I kind of went with, and I like it. So yeah, have fun with making your own Q switches. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.